testing, 1, 2, 3. That's loud enough. Testing, testing. Can you guys hear me back there? Okay. So GW, make sure we have the police department do a full search on that tomorrow. Find out who took one of our mics and who took one of our tables. And then press charges if you find them, okay? Alrighty. Ready? Call the committee meeting to order. Village clerk, please call roll.
Burgess?
Here.
Jones?
Here.
Myers? Bates?
Here.
Washington? Here. Ready? Here.
All right, move time number 2. Boy Scout Troop 152, proposal for tree planting and memorial of PFC Shane Penley. And I know we have a group in the back. I only have one chair up here, so whoever wants to come up, we can grab some more, I think, on the side if we have to. Now, as you guys are coming up, if you would, do me a favor. You are sitting right underneath the echo point. So it's going to sound like you're echoing, and it's really loud. The problem is the people in the back won't hear you if you don't talk really loud. All right? And we have some seniors out there that love to scare young people. So don't let them scare you. Speak really loud so the seniors can hear you, all right? Trustee, can you see if that mic is on? All right, so before we get started, do me a favor, if all of you would present your name so the village clerk can get you in the roll. I can't hear you, so you're going to speak loud. No, is that on? It's not on. Why don't you give him this one right here? Oh, there we go. There he goes.
Milton.
Milton?
Matthew.
Robert.
Robert?
Timber.
Timber?
Chris.
Chris. All righty, we'll turn the floor over to you for your presentation.
Hello, my name is Matthew Hemp, the Senior Patrol Leader of Boy Scout Troop 152 in Sauk Village. We would like to ask permission to plant a tree in memory of Army Private First Class Shane Penley near the Veterans Memorial. This project will be funded by Troop 152. With your permission, we hope we can complete this community service project by Memorial Day 2017. Thank you for your consideration.
All right, so we have the troop as presented tonight to be able to plant a tree. Is it one single tree? Okay, one single tree next to the memorial. Does any of the trustees have any questions? Trustee Rose.
We're planning on planting a tree either a little bit closer to the path, so we would have enough room for the plat that we're planning on, and then the tree right behind the path.
So closer to the building, between the building and the memorial. Okay. Trustee Bird?
Has anyone talked to our public works director to make sure that everything is coordinated? So they can know exactly where you're going to plant the tree. That would be one of the things we want to do.
I'm sorry. No, they're still in the beginning stages. We talked with the family to get the permission from Shane Penley's family before we talked to you guys. But our next step, if you guys would give us permission, would be to talk to Public Works, see if they can work with us, see if there's any pipes we have to look out for, even if they would work with us, because I don't know how that'll all,
Right, that would be best.
you know, and then go from there, because we have to do research on a tree that will not get that worm in it.
That's what I was saying. Public Works would know that, which one, what type of tree, give you a list of what type of plant there, and it's like you said before, if anything is running under the ground.
Right.
So, I just want to know that they talk to public. If they haven't, that would be a good thing to do, to have someone talk to public.
But we're just in the beginning stages right now, and but first we wanted to talk to Shane Penley's family. We did go to their house and ask, and his dad called us back and gave us permission, and he was honored. And so the next step we thought would be to talk to you guys.
Okay, that's a great thing. What you're doing is great. And commendable. What you guys want to undertake. Are you you plan it yourself, digging and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
That's why we have these boys.
That's good. Sure. Sure. I'll have somebody from your troop. We can get in touch with the public works director, and we can find out what type and where. You're not gonna do it right now. Ground from.
Not until probably April or May.
Yeah, but at least you can know what type.
Exactly.
And you have a budget for what type of, how much you're gonna pay?
We'll see when it comes. I don't know how much trees cost, but we could do it.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering about maybe they have a budget, if not, then they can start cooking.
Me personally, I don't know anything about trees.
Okay.
We're willing to do this project, and we want it to
You
be
may be able to get them donated too, if they say it's for the Boy Scout troop, you may be able to get it donated.
We have done projects at Wolf Lake Conservation Area we planted trees, but they were just little stems. We don't want it to be a little stem.
Right.
So
Right. That's why I was wondering who will dig a hole, but you know.
we're gonna research it.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? No. No. I'm sure you haven't, beautification committee, because you're still in the beginning steps. So the way it sounds is you've contacted the Penley family to ask for their permission.
Yes.
You're now coming to the board to ask for permission to move forward. And then after that, there's going to be steps, talking to the beautification committee, talking with the public works department. Again, I think I'm not going to rehash everything, but I think you've got your plate full. And I would think you'd probably end up coming back before us again, right? With what it's going to look like and what your plans are before you start the work.
And anyone that is willing to help for a couple hours or a day or whatever, we would be grateful to have help.
Okay?
Right, boys?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. So I mean, it seems like I see a lot of noddings of the heads that this board is in favor of this. I don't see anyone going the opposite way, which is a good sign. So especially when people are nodding their head this way, that's good. So I would say based off what I can see tonight, the board is in favor of this and they would like to see you to move forward. Thank you very much for presenting it. All right, next one is item number 3, license agreement to access a grade crossing data with CN Railroad. I've asked Jim to come in. We received this information, I think, right before Christmas?
Sounds about right.
And started to go through it, and I asked Jim to take a look at it and make a recommendation. I think he's here tonight to make a recommendation. So I'll turn it over to you.
So I'm just going to start off by reading parts of this letter that we received from Jim Cavaris from CN. And I guess he puts it much better than I ever could. As part of the integration of EJ&E into CN, the railroad developed and implemented the Active Crossing System, or ACS, a notification system that allows authorized users to view a Google Maps type display showing in real time when crossings are activated. That is, when gates are down and lights flashing. Our goal in developing the ACS was to provide a way for local emergency service dispatchers to route emergency responders to sites of incidents, avoiding EJ&E crossings that were blocked, thereby minimizing responder delays. CN proposed, and the Surface Transportation Board ordered that the ACS technology be made available to a limited number of communities along the EJ&E. At the time ACS was implemented, I stated that if technology were to advance to the point where we could offer an updated version of the system to all the EJ&E communities, CN would do so. We are now at that point. The equipment in the field that provides the backbone for the ACS had to be replaced with new equipment that communicates with the later generation wireless technology, telephone technology. This new equipment has allowed us to create an enhanced version of ACS in the form of a web-based, password-controlled application that allows emergency responders with an internet-connected computer to view in real time if grade crossing warning devices are activated on the former EJ&E. The new system is now in place and can be made available for use by your community's authorized emergency responders. As we did with the first generation of ACS, CN is making the system available to you at no cost. The readers and applications used to generate the real-time crossing information will all be maintained by CN at its own expense. The only user equipment required is a computer with internet access. We will require the IP addresses of the computers you will access the system. Like the original system, the upgraded ACS can accommodate multiple users. When we first made the system available to communities, we requested that they complete and execute a no-cost license application form so that we may set your users up to access the system. It explains permitted uses of the system and who may use it, and provides for you to inform us of which crossings you want to view and which outside agencies you wish to authorize for access. Should you feel that you would like to use the new system, please consider executing a license agreement at this time and print out 2 copies, fill out the required information, have an authorized person in the village's administration department execute both, sending both hard copies with original signatures to me. And once I receive both copies of your executed license agreement, I will have them countersigned, and then I will return one fully executed original to you for your files. So that's it. The rest are just details on filling that out. But in a nutshell, you can tell when all the gates are activated, when you wouldn't be able to cross that crossing. So all the emergency responders that would be involved from the village, police, fire department, ESDA, they would know when the tracks are down at the Torrance crossing or the Cottage Grove crossing. To me, it's huge. That would save a lot of valuable time in responding to incidents. And this is all being offered at no cost to the village. I've read through the license agreement. There's nothing in here whatsoever that worries me and concern with the village. Basically, you just have to tell them what crossings you want them for, and then who would have access to the data. So, and it's a very straightforward license agreement. So my recommendation is the village should move forward with this. Just fill out the forms, and then obviously you have to vote on this. So once that's done, fill out the license agreement, send it off to CN, and then away you go.
Any questions for Jim? Trustee Tates.
What cost is there to sink in our first responders to the system? I imagine they couldn't have to talk to each other, so what is the expense in doing that?
It would be 0, because as long as our responders have computers already, or this could even be activated on a smartphone, anything that has access to the internet. So as long as our first responders already have that equipment, there would be no cost to the village.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes, I just wanted to find out, because a lot of people ask this question, how do we find out how long a train will be parked there? In other words, is there a way someone can find out? Because I know after a certain length of time, there's a fee that's enacted. But I've never seen anyone actually go after the money to get it, because that train's been there 15, 20 minutes. But how, is there any way, since we got this equipment and we're going to get this equipment, that we can use that, say that train has been there for 15, 20 minutes and now they owe, they owe the fine or whatever it may be. Is that a possibility that can happen?
That's an interesting point. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I could see the system being used for that, but it's kind of like if CN is giving you the system for free, and then you turn it on them to cost them money, the system might go away.
But right now, what do? I mean, there is no checks and balances. There's no one, unless a duly officer or whatever sits there for that length of time and calling in and said, I've been sitting here X amount of time, and this train has been here, and no one has came out to at least break it up or something, move it along because the traffic is backed up. So there is no watch system. But you're right, if that does happen, and we do have monitors and we can show that it has been there for X amount, and CN would have to reimburse somebody. I don't know if it would be the village or, I guess it would be the village.
Wouldn't be the village.
Huh?
Wouldn't be anything. It's the STB, right?
The reporting agency, I don't even know. I'm sorry, I don't have that.
Okay, I'm just wondering if that could be possible, but because that does happen, and especially now since we have more and more trains. The train goes through there at least every 20, 30 minutes now, and sometimes it's held up for whatever reason it is going through. But we have more and more trains passing through those two places, one on Torrance and the other one on Cottage Grove. So I mean, but they're constantly there. And yes, we can go around. You can take 394 and get off on Lincoln Highway and come back. If that's the case, that's what the police and the fire department would have to do if that happens. And I'm sure they would be notified once they, you know. But I was just wondering, can we, but you're right, if we use that against them, they may come back and say, okay, thank you very much, but now the system's down.
I think the important thing to remember is think about a fire truck leaving the fire department and over on Jeffrey, and knowing when it leaves, if it can go down Torrance Avenue or not, if there's something's happening over at Candlelight Village, rather than that truck going all the way down Sauk Trail, turning down Torrance, and all of a sudden noticing that there is a train there, having to backtrack and either go all the way through Linwood or going all the way back down Sauk Trail at 394. They will know that that call comes across. They can look and find out, is the crossing gates down? So.
That brings up a good point. So is it like GPS to the location? So if they're leaving, like you said, the fire department, it'll know, okay, it's a train 3 minutes down the road. It's not there now. But by the time you get there,
No, it's not like that. There's just a sensor that's within the gate.
so you would already have to be there. I mean,
The train would have to be there already.
Or we can ask for sensors down the line. They're going to ask us which area sensors do we want. So we may not just want Cottage Grove and Torrance Avenue. We may want the sensors further down so we can see if there's oncoming trains.
That's a very good point.
So that's what we would probably, and that's what I would recommend that we request. Getting sensors, if there's sensors all the way into Indiana, and getting sensors to go all the way into maybe Chicago Heights, so we can know.
So is it like an app, or would it be like a website that they'll have to?
My understanding, it's a website.
Trustee Myers, I saw your hand up.
When we look at brokers and police officers, or have representation, all our stations, risk. All of our firefighters come to the station. The computer will pick up the signal, inform us that they are in Torrance Avenue, the block. Then we will automatically go around to the expressway. What we're doing now is usually, I'm the first one down Torrance Avenue if we have anything on the north side of those tracks. And I advise our engines to go down the expressway if that road is blocked any way, shape, even if a train's moving on it. And our first engine will be going that way. But there has been times where we have been cornered in the middle out here, and we got caught by a train. Plus, we have two other departments coming from the other side of Route 30 coming in to assist us. And you have Buds that is sitting down on, I believe it's Glenwood Lansing Road as their halfway point for it. So it would be very beneficial for the fire service.
Any other questions? All right, so we'll have this agreement on next Tuesday night's agenda for approval. All right, thanks, Jim, for coming out. It's good seeing you. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, yeah, we got this for this one too. I knew we put multiple things on here to get you out here. All right, moving on to number 4, review MFT resolutions and agreements. And we have a whole list of them. We've got BLR 14230 resolution for maintenance of streets and highways by municipality under Illinois Highway Code. BLR 09111 resolution for improvements by municipalities under the Illinois Highway Code. BLR 14231 municipal estimate of maintenance cost, and BLR 05512 preliminary construction engineering service agreements for motor fuel tax funds. Go ahead, Jim.
So this is the standard stuff we passed every single year. There's nothing new in these forms. The first set are for road reconstruction. So this year's program will consist of the following streets: Peachtree Avenue from 223rd Street to Brookwood Drive, 224th Street from Nichols Drive to Brookwood Drive, 226th Place from Nichols Drive to Spencer Avenue, 216th Street from Charlotte Court to 216th Place, and lastly, Charlotte Court from 216th Street to the termination. So it's everything we could squeeze out of the dollars that we have available. It's our MFT funds, our CDBG funds. So we're just maxing out everything we can this year. And then along with that, we have maintenance forms for all the typical stuff that we do year to year. Signs, light maintenance, salting the streets, things of that nature. Usually ends up being about $100,000. So that's all I have. We're asking the board to approve the resolutions and the agreements so we can move forward with doing the work for this year's program.
Any questions? I have a question on the federal funding we got for 223rd Street.
Yes.
Where are we at on that?
Still waiting on IDOT, remarkably. They just take months and months and months to make a decision. So we still don't know for sure.
All right. But that's, of course, we received approval. Now we're just waiting for them to release the funds?
That's correct, right.
So once we release the funds, just so the board knows, other than these streets here, we have 223rd Street, refresh my memory, it's from Torrance Avenue all the way to Coronel, and then Coronel all the way to Sauk Trail.
Right.
So once they release the funds to the federal government, those roads and stuff will be happening next year also.
Yes.
So we've got quite a few roads that we're going to be doing this next year. As long as the federal government releases those funds.
Right.
Because we got the, again, how we got that was a federal, I don't think it's called right-of-way, is it?
It's FAU, Federal Aid Urban.
Right. So if anything ever happens to Sauk Trail and roads and nothing can go down that, it gives them access down 223rd, going all the way down. We did it, what, 4 years ago?
Right.
We got the right-of-way from Torrance Avenue all the way to Katz, or no, to Murphy, which takes it up to Burnham, which takes it to Burnham Avenue, because anything past Murphy was not within Sauk Village limits. So I think it was about 3 years ago we got 223rd Street resurfaced in that area. This will finish everything off in case there's ever a major shutdown of Sauk Trail. It's an access for traffic to get around. So. All right. This will be on the agenda for next Tuesday night for approval. All these resolutions.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to item number 5, the 60th anniversary update.
So everybody should remember that we said before that this is the year that the village turns 60 in March. So we have been working on some fundraising to do some sort of event. If you remember, 10 years ago, we had a 3-day event with a carnival, and there was a music festival, and there was lots of presentations and things like that. Due to the cost of that event, the village had put some money aside back then. And while we do have a budget currently for the 60th anniversary, we don't have the budget that we had then, and we don't have the fundraising that we had then. So we, as a committee, came together, we discussed it, and we are going to downsize it from a 3-day event to a 1-day event. We are going to, the big celebration, we're going to incorporate with the 4th of July weekend, where we usually have the fireworks and the parade and things like that. So it's all gonna be in one day instead of a 3-day event. We talked about a carnival, and the last couple carnivals we've had in Sauk Village, the turnout wasn't the greatest, and we had some incidents with youth, and so we just kind of wanted to shy away from all that this year and focus on raising money still for fireworks, having a bigger parade than usual, and really kind of celebrating the anniversary of Sauk Village around the 4th of July. Also, though, to work with the 60th anniversary, we have contacted School District 206, and we are working with the art classes there to develop the new village sticker for this coming year. So they will be working on a 60th anniversary, big, huge Sauk Village turned 60 village sticker, and we're also working with them this year for Student Government Day. So they will be participating in Student Government Day this year. So everything is kind of in the beginning stages. We just received word from them actually today that they are going to be proceeding with us. So I will definitely keep the board informed as far as when everything's going to be happening. As far as the village sticker, that comes out in May. But we would like to do, as tradition, we would like to do Student Government Day in March, because that's when our anniversary is. So we will keep you guys posted as far as the date, the time, and all that. But that's where we are with the 60th anniversary. And we are still raising funds, so if anybody would like to donate for the 60th anniversary, contact myself or the village clerk. And we are, like I said, we're looking for that day to have fireworks, to have a larger parade, and we're working with Trustee Myers on the parade. And like he was saying in our last meeting, we were talking about maybe making it a little bit bigger this year, inviting some more people, and he said parades cost money. If you want the big marching bands, if you want the nice shiny cars and all the things that other places have, it's going to cost money. So that's why we're raising funds, to pay for the fireworks, to pay for a parade. We would like to have some vendors, some activities back here. So as it gets closer to the time, we will keep the board informed of what's going on. But we just wanted to give you guys an update since we're coming back for the first meeting. That's all I have.
All right, any questions? I know they're looking for volunteers, so if any trustees want to volunteer, throw it out there. I know you
Yes.
did.
Yes. It is around the 4th of July. It's because I couldn't think of the date. It's that Saturday. We were thinking, oh, that's true. We were thinking about doing it the 3rd. I'm sorry, the 1st. The 1st, yeah, the Saturday. No, the 60th anniversary, it's March 12th. That's the day that the village was incorporated. But we are planning on doing the parade and the fireworks and everything around then. We don't know that the village will be able to do fireworks in March and then do fireworks in July. Between our fundraising efforts and the village, what the village has in their coffers, we were thinking that it would be nice to do something in March, like at a board level. Let people know that, hey, it's the 60th anniversary, we're having a special board meeting because of the 60th anniversary to commemorate that important day, but then do the bigger celebration in July, so that we're not without fireworks and parades and everything. And plus, March is kind of iffy, you don't know about a parade. People are going to be out there marching, it's going to be snowing, so we figured put everything off until July, but we'll celebrate in March too. Absolutely.
Trustee Myers.
March 12th. Well, I don't think that that's a Tuesday. Then the 13th will be, if it's a board meeting, I think we have a board meeting that day, I'm not sure. But no, the 14th is a Tuesday. So, and that would be a board meeting. So it's our hope, if we can get everything.
At the board meeting in March, but then we operate on the first celebration.
Right.
Actually, with the 4th of July parade.
Right.
I would like to, you know, see 60 years for the dedicated numbers to go down to the animal. So like for the reindeer.
Oh, like a,
So the whole village can know, I told the staff, excuse me, a big banner that says Sauk Village 60th anniversary. So you would be surprised on the residents that don't have a clue.
oh, I'm sure a lot of people don't know that we're turning 60.
A lot of you last, you all don't know about this, you don't know nothing about it. Something that we had to do like that really big white banner that was hanging downtown, some of the village, Marathon, where they put the elevators, right there. So that the village should actually know what's going on.
That's a good idea. We can check the pricing.
Then the day that the people could know, because the parade would also be celebrated our birthday anniversary. Just a suggestion.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else? All right, seeing and hearing nothing, we'll move to public comment. All questions and comments will be directed to the mayor. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to comment on the topic of their choice. Each speaker will be allowed 1 opportunity to speak. All right, you got public comment.
Bernice Brewer Houston on behalf of Sauk Village Citizens for Public Awareness. When Jim was given, Mr. Zernak was given his presentation, he mentioned various streets in Sauk Village, but I would like to know who makes that determination on what streets are going to be resurfaced or patched, and where the MFT funds are going to be spent. I'd like to know who makes that determination. And also he mentioned federal funds, and I'd like to know how much are we going to get from that, and when are those funds going to be available. And the second part of my question involves you, Ms. Williams Bay, okay, Bay. Oh, Bay, okay. In response to a FOIA request dated January 9, 2017, there was $20,892.04 in the MFT funds. Now, Zernak mentioned all these streets we're going to resurface. I'd like to know where we're going to get the money from. Now, we got additional $23,000 in somewhere in January, but the balance right now is like $23,000. I'd like to know what happened to the $20,000 that was there first. Can somebody give me an itemized breakdown of what happened to the $20,000 that was already there? Where was it used? You know, to fix what, where, when? Yeah, that should be enough.
Sweet. So you're done. You're yielding your time. You're done. Do you have any other questions or any comments?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. You talked about the MFT funds and the roads and stuff. We've got funds that come through CDGB. We've got funds that through MFT funds for doing the streets. Again, when you apply, especially through your CDGB, there's criteria that have to be followed. So those streets there, they fall within those criteria. So usually what happens is Kevin puts together a list of all the roads that need to be done. They try to find the ones that are in the worst case scenario. And what they do is they work from there to find out which roads fall within the criteria for the grant monies and stuff that we're going to get. So we rely heavily on our engineers to put all the documentation together and all the reports to be able to figure out which streets are available. When it talks about MFT funds are used throughout the year. So to tell you exactly how it's spent, you know, when you look at, we have to buy Sauk, those are used through MFT funds if there's any type of repairs, MFT funds if we have any type of water main breaks, things like that. So there's funds and stuff, code patch, things like that when people want their streets repaired. So that's what we use for MFT funds, are for motor fuel tax funds, which we use for streets and things like that. So that's where we're at there. So again, we talked about the federal funds. All that information was provided at a village board meeting quite a few months ago. So again, we haven't received the funds yet, so the road construction hasn't started. But I'm not going to tell you what the number is off the top of my head because I don't remember.
No, how much it is?
I just can remember the area that it covers because we had already done 223rd Street from Torrance towards Murphy, so I know it covers the rest of that area. So, but that's all I have. All right, next.
Hi, good evening. My name is Debbie Robinson, and I'm representing Lincoln Meadows, and we've got probably about 4 unresolved issues that were discussed back in the summer, and we never got a response. So the first one is the front entrance, the lights, but I know they're working on it, but I'm not sure what the status is because they're still out and they've been out for a while. Also, there was a pothole / sinkhole in the back that we mentioned back in the summer, never got a response for. The front entrance, which that was done, or is ongoing rather. And then there's a difference or disparity in the water connection costs. For some areas of Sauk Village it's $275 and some areas are $250. And we were just wondering what why the difference.
All right. I know that Trustee Burgess is writing much stuff down because that's his committee.
Okay.
I will respond on some of these because I do know what's going on. The lights, where you're having problems with your lights.
Yes.
They have found out that there's disconnections to the power going to those poles. Okay. Or there's interruption to them. So
okay.
They have ComEd. They've got a work request out for ComEd to come out, find out exactly where that's at, and to get that repaired.
Okay.
The pothole, I thought they were going to take care of, but I'll follow up on that again if you would. Again, on the front entrance, I know that there's been work done in there. Again,
Yes.
Work was done before
Right.
the bad weather stuff came in. There'll be additional work that will be done probably in the spring
Okay.
as we get into the summer. And then you talked about the cost of different people, and I think if I remember right, you're talking about the water meters that are going inside the houses.
Yes.
There's $250,
The
if I remember
connection.
right, versus $275.
Right.
That is because of the size of the pipe that goes into the water meter. Newer homes, the size of the pipes that go into the meters.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure I'm not using the correct plumbing terminology.
Okay.
But in the newer homes, they have larger diameter of pipes,
Okay.
which requires a different water meter. The older homes have smaller diameter, again, which is a different meter, which they can get at a lower cost. So anything, especially in any of our newer subdivisions, you have Plum Creek, Lincoln Meadows, Deer Creek, right. Especially the newer ones, or any newer houses being built, because of the new codes requires the larger pipes. Okay. The older homes in Sauk Village, they were built in the 50s and things like that, so they fell under different, what's it called, with different codes. So that's the reason for the difference in the price.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
My name is Jan Clark. I have a question on item 4, the last one, BLR 5512. It said preliminary and then construction engineering services agreement for motor fuel tax funds. Motor fuel tax was something that was on the referendum when we voted about how it can be motor fuel tax resolution and agreements. Why do we have to do something if the law is already out there as to how it can be spent? I mean, to my understanding, when I read that referendum, it was all monies coming in to a municipality, town, city, whatever, were to be spent on roads within the town. Not water, not sewage, not sewer, not water mains, but roads. I may be wrong, but I'm just questioning. I don't know what Mr. Cernak knows. So, and as far as the 60th anniversary, you could have a couple auctions. Residents can bring some of their junk. It can be fun. It can generate a little money rather than throwing it away. Say, here we go. It's going to be Saturday from 10 to 1. You know, a lot of people are just, you know, looking for something to do if they can get rid of some of their stuff. It's just an idea. And that's all.
All right, we have. Oh, you want? All right. When it talks about the resolutions for the MFT funds, this is a resolution between the Village of Sauk Village and more or less the state of Illinois. So, you know, when we're passing this, again, it said the title of the resolution is Resolutions for Maintenance and Streets and Highways by Municipalities under the Illinois Highway Code. So when you look at these resolutions, again, they even got the State of Illinois Transportation, IDOT, they got their logo and everything at the top of these resolutions. So they will get this once we approve it. We'll put our signatures on there. This will be sent to IDOT. IDOT will submit their signatures and approvals for all this. So this is just something that the village has to do every year, especially when it comes to getting funding. We talked about CDGB through the county. So we talked about getting those funds. Again, these are steps that the village must take to be able to get those fundings and to be able to get these streets. We have to identify roads and streets that are going to be repaired, where the money is going to be spent to repair those roads. And again, this is through IDOT. So,
Can the CDBG go for fire hydrant repair? And MFT for roads?
so
Just, I don't.
right. All right. Next.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Francine Anderson, and I have some concerns. First of all, we could start with number 2. The Boy Scouts did a very fantastic proposal about planting a tree, and I'm hoping you, as the leader of this town, will make sure that Public Works do not file a grievance against the municipality because of the Boy Scouts wanting to plant, since that is a role that is under the union. Number 3, I love the crossing ideas. I think that's fantastic. It will help with first responders. Number 4, no one mentioned in any of your discussion today how much money is being proposed to be spent out of the motor fuel funds. How much was expected to be received, how much is going to be spent on maintenance, and how much of our money is going to be spent on Robinson Engineering doing the agreements. None of that was discussed. So I would like to have some information about the amount of monies that are going to be spent. The 60th anniversary, I heard several ideas, but wanted to make sure that I was clear from Rosie's report. She stated that they will be working with District 206. Are you not going to be working with District 168 anymore? If so, I don't know, maybe you decided to work with both groups. But from my understanding, from what I heard, you said the high school district. And I am interested in understanding why was that change made? Is our young people no longer valuable? You also said something about having difficulties in raising funds, and I'm wondering if you're not having difficulties because of the $500 controversy that came up with the travel gate, in which I initiate also for refusal of the clerk being on the petition, although she is going to be on the ballot. But I guess that's true fact. Now we can't get vendors to give us $1. I guess they're kind of concerned as well. Just a statement, because I see we still have that $500 that is kind of ominous somewhere in the atmosphere, somewhere. The other thing about the 60th anniversary celebration, I would hope that something could be done on the 60th anniversary day, whether it is something simple and small where you can invite residents to celebrate the anniversary date of this town, or whether you decide to only wait to do it as a part of the 4th of July. I hope that you will let citizens know that what is the true anniversary date for this town, and something simple will be planned by this particular administration. Very simple. If you can take it out of your pockets, that's also easier as well, Mr. Mayor. Any other thing I would have? Now, can I have some answers, please?
All righty. No, I just want to know, refresh my memory, the anniversary is when?
March 12th.
March. February. March, April, okay. So we'll do something during this administration. I couldn't remember, but the festivals and stuff like that will go under the next administration, so.
Well, we're, as part of the 60th anniversary committee, we are, because you can't, regardless of who wins in April and takes office in May, you can't book fireworks and book a parade from May to July. So we are working on as a part of the village to make sure the 60th anniversary happens, regardless who sits in what seats, because not everything that we think about is political. So we're looking ahead and realizing that the village should be celebrated no matter who sits in those seats. As far as making sure that something happens on our actual day, I believe I did mention the fact that we're trying to have a student government day that won't be on March 12th, because as I stated, that's a Sunday, but we will be doing it on the following Tuesday, board meeting. We were trying to do a student government day. As far as the money for raising funds, we've tried to go to vendors, and it has nothing to do with travel gate. That is completely a made-up, very carefully here, completely made-up mockery of something that happened almost 4 years ago now. People just really need to let it go, because we keep having breaking news that was nothing. But no, the reason why is because our vendors, I'm sure there's been a lot of people who've asked a lot of questions here about our aging report and how much money we owe our vendors, and we're trying to steadily make due on those bills. But if we owe people, they're not going to give us money, and not we, as in the village clerk or myself. If the village owes them money, they're not going to be quite as quick to give us money for that. Also, we're asking for money in 2016 for an event that's happening in 2017. We are also raising money for Carol's Cocoa and More, which provided toys and gift baskets. We did that in 2016. So as I stated tonight with one of our vendors present, we are still raising funds for the 60th anniversary, which is happening in 2017. If anybody in this audience, including Ms. Anderson, is worried about the 60th anniversary and would like to donate money, I already said we're still looking for donations. And as far as District 206, yes, the committee made a decision to work with District 206. Everybody knows that last year, working with District 168, there were a couple of snafus. They asked us to adhere to 6 different items before they would participate in Student Government Day. All 6 of those items were met. Letters were sent to District 168, and they still chose not to participate. So because of the short amount of time that we have to kind of work with everything, we chose to look beyond and try to get the kids who maybe couldn't participate last year, who are now in District 206. So that is why we made that decision to go with the village sticker as well as Student Government Day. So that's what we're doing. I hope I answered all of your questions, Ms. Anderson.
All right. There was discussion about the resolutions and the amounts. The first resolution is for $150 through a motor fuel tax. That's for the roads that were mentioned. Again, we talked about Peachtree, 224, 226, 216th, and Charlotte Court. I'm not going to give you to and from locations. There's another $100,000, about $103,000 that's estimated for maintenance operations. Again, this is all spelled out, which should be sent to the state of Illinois. That's everything from snow and ice removal, tree removal, street maintenance, street lighting, catch basins, storm sewer maintenance, traffic signal maintenance, and sidewalk repairs. Again, this is all falls under the MFT cost, which you're supposed to. And we talk about the engineering cost. They've got a base fee. It's about $1,250. And then we got the preliminary construction. So there's some other things that I don't think covers the majority of it. So I think they round off right about $200,000. So again, as the funds come available, that's what the money's for. So all right, next.
Judy Cascare. It's a new year, but we're going on the same old questions that we've had for the last 4. Is there ever going to be a time when we get an aging report without having to do a FOIA to get it? Is there ever going to be an accounts receivable as well as an accounts payable?
No.
People need to know what's going on in town, and part of the transparency is knowing, I mean, I keep hearing constantly that we're broke and we owe a lot of money to a lot of people. We've got services that are being denied because we're not making payments. How much money comes into the village versus how much money is going out of the village? That's one of our rights. And why do we have to go through a FOIA request that goes through the lawyers, that goes through another bill, in order to find out what we're entitled to know? It's disturbing to want to have some of the things that are presented, but then backing off because we know we don't have the money for it, but we really don't know how severe that issue is because we never see the reports. It's been 4 years, going on 4 years, since we had a real financial report at this administration. And I think it's time we have one. It's our right to know, and I and the group I talk for feel we are entitled to it, and we're demanding it. Thank you.
See no one else? Go start with Trustee Myers today. You have anything?
Wow.
You have anything? No? Trustee, I'll let you cover it. Trustee Washington? Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to make a few announcements. Of course, we are having our regularly scheduled Neighborhood Watch meeting the second Monday of every month at the fire station at 7 o'clock. We are still looking for new block club captains. We were able to do some grading and get some new block club captains during the months of December, from October, November, and December, but we are still looking for new block club captains on your block. Also, I have another announcement to make from Neighborhood Watch. We're going to be hosting a Unity in the Community concert, and we are very, very excited about it. I mean, we have been talking with School District 168 as well as talking with the different performers that are going to be coming, and the Neighborhood Watch Committee, my co-chair, along with myself and the block club captains and our officers, we decided that we need unity in the community of Sauk Village. So we came up with an idea to do something that would encourage the residents to come out. I remember at one point in Mayor Hanks in your administration, you said you wanted to do more things to get the families to come out in the summertime, have more picnics, do more things in the park. So this is another attempt to just do that through Neighborhood Watch. Have all the families of Sauk Village to come out to a free concert at Rickover. We're going to have the very, very elite and wonderful Stella Award-winning host, Daryl King of 102.3 FM Gospel Radio. She hosts several shows and have hosted several events, and she's never been to Sauk Village before that I know of. So we wanted to show her a great big Sauk Village welcome when she comes. Also, when we did our play in April, we had Willie the Entertainer. He's, I think, 4th or 5th grader who's been on the Ellen Show on Windy City Live, Good Morning America. He's traveled all over. He was at Indiana when they did the big tribute to Michael Jackson. He played Michael Jackson, and they have a picture of him being hugged by Katherine Jackson, Michael Jackson's mother, for his performance. For us to get him to come back with his busy calendar, the young people at Rickover loved him. It was an exciting play, and we're going to have him back for this concert, as well as some local Sauk Village talent and some talent outside of Sauk Village. It's going to be some gospel. It's going to be something for the youth. It's going to be something for everybody. It is a free family
family event. We have letters out asking for donations. We have letters out asking for those that want to participate. If you think you can sing, you want to be on the program, just contact the Neighborhood Watch and let us know. We only have so many acts that we're going to allow on the program, and once we reach that limit, we're going to have to cut it off. So the Neighborhood Watch is very, very excited about this free concert for the community. We are encouraging all of our elected officials and ministers and pastors and community leaders and residents, not only in Sauk Village, we're inviting elected officials outside of Sauk Village to come and share with us as we celebrate unity in the community for Sauk Village. So put that on your calendar. That's going to be on a Friday night at Rickover, March the 10th. The doors will open at 5:30 sharp. I was able to talk with Mr. L tonight, so Ezra can come and help coordinate directing traffic. We are expecting a big, big crowd. So elected officials, if you're coming, we're going to have designated areas for you guys to sit. Ministers and pastors in Sauk Village, we're going around talking to them as well. We have places for them to sit. So this is something that we definitely don't want to miss, and Neighborhood Watch would be very honored to have all of you to participate. If any elected officials can sing or play a musical instrument and you want to be on the program, let me know. Or any department heads, you can let us know. Thank you. And that concludes my report. Just 6 o'clock. I told him 6 o'clock. I don't know if Trustee Ed Myers is going to be singing or not. So you have to just come and see. We got some surprises in store. Thank you.
Trustee Johnson?
Open gym will be resuming on the 28th, last Saturday of the month, of every month. We're right now working on a dance. We pretty much got all the details together. We just need to get a definite date sometime in April. It's going to be 6th, 7th, 8th grader dance in the community center. And we're starting to put together summer camp. We are working on that once again and trying to put some things together. Mr. Fairman, I wanted to ask a question about the floors in the community center. Still haven't been touched. And also the retention pond, the detention pond, that snow brigade that's put around there was meant to be temporary until we get a fix. It seems like we're just stagnant, and I don't know if it's on the down the pipeline that we're gonna get any work done on that. Summer's coming. I don't want to run into the same issue that we ran into last summer. Whatever needs to be done, we need to get something done with that. As you can see, it's even higher than it was even in the summertime. And I don't want something to happen. And that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Tate?
The first thing I want to do is offer my condolences to the Sullivan family. As you recall, about a month ago, Mr. Ed Sullivan passed away, and I think his wife passed away shortly thereafter. Mr. Sullivan was like a village mainstay. He worked with in various capacities for the children in Sauk Village. These last couple of years, he kind of changed his mind and started working with veterans and senior citizens, which is going from one end of the spectrum to the other. But one thing that Mr. Sullivan did was attempt to get Rosebush Garden placed at the memorial that we have out here. And he met with a lot of resistance, according to him. And I did not attend any meetings with Mr. Sullivan, but I know that he's instructed to meet with the beautification committee. He was instructed to meet with Director Weller and coordinate his activities for this Rosebush Garden. It did not happen. This board did not support him, and I'm not sure what support the committee or Kevin Weller offered him. But with the Boy Scouts now wanting to plant a tree
I'm hoping they don't encounter the same resistance that Mr. Sullivan did. At the end of last meeting, I was asked a couple of questions by one of the residents. Actually, she said I have 2 questions, and it turns out that 3 questions. One, I think I've heard earlier, was the accounts payable question was raised again, which is one of her questions. And I was asked, why do I vote against the accounts payable? And I mentioned to her in brief that I had made the statement that if it's not important for the Director of Finance to be here at meetings to answer questions about our finances, then I would not vote in favor of those finances. And that decision is made by the mayor, who he wants at his meetings. So that's my answer to her question, to that part of her question. The other question was, why did I make comments about the intelligence level of our students? Now, Trustee Williams-Bay made the statement that I had questioned the intelligence of our students. That never happened. And if she can provide the tape, we'll all listen to the tape where I said that they're not intelligent enough to do whatever they need to do. I was shocked at that, not really shocked at that, because I've never taken any action or made any statements to Trustee Williams-Bay about anything she does or does not do. So I was surprised at that. When she made comments about a civil war between this administration and the police department, I never commented one way or the other about that. What I learned about civil wars is certainly not what we had going on between this administration and the police department. But perhaps her understanding of the Civil War is a lot different than mine. I never said anything about the dozens of deficiencies that came out of the audit report, the last audit report. The mayor calls them suggestions. They're actually deficiencies. But again, I don't know where he learned his definitions from. I never talked about the aging report. That was mentioned tonight. And Trustee Williams-Bay stated that one of the residents needed to FOIA the aging report. And I agree with the comment that was made earlier. When the FOIAs come in, we pay $165 an hour for attorneys. So why should we send a FOIA requesting an aging report to our attorneys and pay $165 an hour when I don't see any reason why we can't release that report here? Again, a comment, I never made a comment about the release of the aging report. Something else from the Budget and Finance Committee, as you were aware, the village treasurer was arrested and partially convicted on some items earlier this year. We have not had a treasurer's report presented at the meetings, and by state law, we're supposed to have a monthly report, if not more frequent, from the treasurer, but nothing from Budget and Finance has even addressed the treasurer's alleged theft of police pension funds, or what safeguards are going to be put in place to prevent that from occurring again, or who's going to give a treasurer's report. So none of that has been addressed. The issues of we're in a sort of a place in this administration where we deal with personal attacks more than anything else. And you may have heard Trustee Williams, yeah, really, that's exactly what I mean.
I was going to talk about my intelligence, but go ahead. Personal attacks.
Am I going to talk about your intelligence? I didn't say you weren't intelligent. You can't read, but I never said you couldn't.
Personal attacks.
Yes, yes, yes. Exactly. And I will continue, and if you recall, I asked the mayor not to engage in personal attacks in 2015 because he was addressing and attacking one of the trustees on this board. And I asked him not to do that, and he turned on me and gave me a taste of his medicine. Absolutely, I can. And I hope your mother can also. But anyway.
They set me up, walk me out, police, somebody there, talk all day long.
Don't address the floor, please follow it.
All day long. Yeah,
But anyway, so I answered those questions for the resident tonight because I've looked around and she's not here, so perhaps someone will tell her, and I didn't get her name, that I did address that issue. The second question that she really had was why I voted against the minutes that are provided to the board. And she said that you always vote against the minutes. That is not true. I don't always vote against the minutes. Some I do vote for. But the reason I vote against minutes is because if you read the minutes, they are full of typographical errors, grammatical errors, punctuation, incomplete sentences. I don't vote on garbage. And as a municipality, we should give out succinct, exact minutes. Look at the minutes from other communities. None of them compare with what we have. And I think that, I understand the village clerk has been in 7.5 years, I don't know. But I don't know any position where you get on-the-job training for 7.5 years to learn your job. That is the reason I vote against minutes. And you can read the minutes yourself, and if they're acceptable to the residents, that's fine. I will not vote on minutes that look like we have the minutes that we received. I think when residents have questions and they ask trustees questions, the trustees should try to find out answers if they can't get answers. Rarely do we hear answers given out during the meetings, but there's nothing wrong with you stopping a trustee. I don't think there's anything wrong with you stopping a trustee and say, can you find out what's going on with this, and that trustee trying to assist you as a resident by answering your question. That's only my viewpoint. Some trustees may feel totally different about that. The only item, mine is for the village administrator. Do we have I was asked tonight, do we have a program in place for the relief of branch pickups?
Yeah, we have one up work.
Well, you realize there was a windstorm about a week ago, and there were branches and limbs that were broken. So is there a plan to pick those up? Could you talk to them?
No, Trustee Burgess. It's his committee, he can follow up.
Wow, why? Why is this Burgess doing it and not the administrator?
Wow. Okay, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Fairman, also, you're supposed to provide data to me on, or to the board actually, on the state boundaries on the agreement that we signed last year. We talked about state boundaries, and you were going to get information for the state boundaries were. You're looking at me like you don't remember.
Well, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's not cost of money for him to do it. We had to figure out, because we still thought part of it was, the Onstega Road was part of it. The mayor clarified it's not part of Sauk Village. So I can follow up and get that from him. He'll give you a rough draft, okay?
Okay, and I don't want to cost the village any money. I just thought you had the information.
Well, no, I don't have the information, because I thought I was under the impression that they had certain boundaries. But I'll find out.
The mayor, I know.
Okay, Mr. Fairman, the other thing was the cell phone issue. I had initially mentioned that we had over $10,000 in delinquent cell phone bills at one time, and that we had cell phones that were assigned to former employees of the village, and that we had cell phones that we were paying for that had not been assigned to anyone. And you were going to talk to someone and find out what could we do about the cell.
I think the cell phone was not used because the police department had a number of lines. That's why we cut them off. Some of it was used for undercover operations, all kind of stuff. So we found that out. We started pulling these phones from everybody. As a matter of fact, I don't carry one, and some other people don't carry one. I can give the specifics to you because that's what it was. It also has something to do with the cars, and I can't think exactly what Gerald told me about it, but we pulled the lines out as a result of us not using them, and also because of our dispatchers going to Calcom.
Okay. What about the funds that are assigned to former employees that we're still paying for?
They take care of those.
Okay.
Yes. I need one update, I'll give it to you.
Would you please?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I think that is all I have.
Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to, first of all, try to answer the question that the resident from Lincoln Meadows had in regards to the sinkhole. Okay, the sinkhole, I was under the impression that they had put asphalt in it right now. There's no asphalt there because I had asked the Public Works Department coordinator, which is Kevin Weller, about it, and he said they were going to fill it right now with asphalt. And after the concrete plants open, they were going to put concrete. But right now, concrete wouldn't cure in the winter. They would just pour asphalt in to keep it from sinking and going any further, because they fixed it, but they just have to fill it in. So what I will do, I will call and find out, or I will go over there and visit myself, and then I'll get back with you in regards to that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And also in regards, Mayor, to the Public Works picking up branches, I'm not the Public Works boss. I can follow up, but I cannot make that decision whether or not they do pick up the branches, which they should, because we just did have a windstorm.
And I never asked you to tell the Public Works Department, you can find what their schedule is.
Well, I don't even know if they're going to do it. I don't even know. I don't know if they're scheduled that or not. But I do have another statement that I want to find. I'm glad that Mr. J.W. Fairman is here and yourself is here. I need to know, as a trustee, what are the parameters for posting something on the village billboard on Sauk Trail? Last month, I asked to have something posted, and it was for the my town hall meeting, which is not a political meeting. It's a meeting that I have 2.5 years. I'm sorry. Okay. It's something that I have been doing for the last 2.5 years. It's an informational meeting. I'm sure everyone here has been there. If you hear anything that I'm trying to be political, please let me know, because it's not about politics. It's about informing people about what's going on and letting them talk back and forth amongst themselves without a time limit. That's what that meeting was for. But I want to know, because I keep getting conflicting answers, and I was told last time that I didn't inform someone, and then this very last time I was told the reason why this wasn't put up because other trustees, if I do it, then that means other trustees would have to do it, or would be given the opportunity to post something on the bulletin board that's out on Sauk Trail. I've been posting and have posted until recently the town hall meetings, the times, and where it was going to be. I remember last year, locks were changed, things happened, all of a sudden the cash card system didn't work to try to keep the town hall meetings from happening. For whatever reason, I don't know, I really don't care, but when it came down to it, it was open, and I appreciate that. But what I want to know now, going further, going forth and trying to get something put out there on Sauk Trail, what do I have to do? Who do I give it to first? And the turnaround time of having something posted. I can understand if it's, I'm not having a political rally, it's not about, and I was also told that if I want to have something, I can have it at my campaign office. That's not what this is about. This is information for the village residents. This has nothing to do with the campaign, and I don't know why that came up. So I just wanted to know, I'm glad I got you, Mayor, and you, Mr. Fairman, here, so I can get a concrete answer, not going back and forth. I'm not going to play pinball. I'm going to ask the question. I just like to know what it is. And, okay, you want to ask?
I got no problem answering it. If you have something that you want to post it for one of your committees or commissions, that's no problem. We'll get those posted. But for something for personal, which your hometown, your town hall meetings are your personal things, we're not going to post those. So I make it very clear.
How is town hall personal, Mayor? I've been doing this for 2.5 years. How's that personal?
You said you weren't going back and forth. I just answered your question. Okay?
No, I'm asking you, how is town hall meetings personal? You've been to my town hall meetings. Did you see in my town hall meetings when you were there
Does it deal
that it was
does it deal with any of your committees or commissions?
So the people of the village don't have a right to congregate in the village that pay for this to talk about issues that are going on in this village.
No one's stopping
It's not a personal.
No one's stopping you from having it, Trustee.
No, but I just asked why we couldn't post it. Who pays for that billboard?
Trustee, I made it very clear. Right?
Who pays for the billboard?
I'm going to go back and forth with you, Trustee.
Okay, I just want to find, anyway, the last thing, there will be a town hall meeting here tomorrow at 7 o'clock. As always, the topics are open and you will be informed about upcoming and things that are happening in this village. And also try to answer some of the questions that you may have. I did not know that I had the authority to ask or tell Public Works, but I'm going to find out about that too, because if Public Works falls under our village administrator, I cannot ask them to do nothing. Matter of fact, I have a memo on top in my little cubicles that says if any trustee wants to ask any department head or take them away from their job, that is not happening. And that was signed by the mayor. So if I want to ask one of the any department head, which includes Public Works, to do something, I have to go through the mayor, which quite naturally we go through Mr. Fairman, who is the village administrator. Because I am tired of back and forth. If I ask one, then we playing basketball. Because I got to pass it off to someone else, and then I get back with you. That's nothing but just to me, myself, that's just pushing the can down the street. If you're an elected official, first of all, you should have enough wherewithal to understand what you're asking. And the second of all, you should be able to get an answer within 24 hours. Not until the next meeting when, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask that, I forgot to answer that. So, I understand, but I don't understand why we have to continue to do this, and then we keep saying this is not political. I don't know. Thank you.
Trustee...
Well said, Mr. Burgess.
Just a couple of things. In response to what Trustee Tate said, a couple of things. First, the Budget and Finance Committee is response to the treasurer. We don't, what the finance director does and what the treasurer does are two different things. So him being a part of our meetings, it's not his responsibility to answer for or discuss anything that has to do with the treasurer or a treasurer report. This board has worked with the mayor and we've asked questions as a board about the treasurer. And the mayor, and as far as the chair of that committee, I agree with the mayor in saying there's not a whole lot that's going to be discussed about the treasurer because it's a pending investigation. It's pending litigation. Anything that we say out here, back there, in your homes, anything else could greatly affect the outcome of the investigation. So, as we're not going to discuss it in Budget and Finance. The treasurer can use it to say that we said anything or did anything or anything like that, that it's going to should be the detriment of the village. So that's the treasurer.
Right.
As far as you said that you never said anything, you've never said anything about Student Government Day. You've never said anything about the audit deficiencies. There are a few other things you said that you've never commented on. You asked for the definition of something that the mayor asked for. I'm going to ask you for the definition of never. Because from the time the auditors came here, you were looking at those deficiencies. You've asked about those deficiencies countless times. You've asked what the Budget and Finance Committee was going to do about them. You asked the mayor himself what he was going to do about them. So to say that you've never commented on them, that's erroneous. Going back to the Student Government Day comments, I will be happy to personally listen to the tape of that day, especially since my name got dragged through the mud with District 168 for the comments that you made, sir. Trustee Myers came at that meeting and he stated at your intergovernmental committee meeting, you guys discussed Student Government Day. And you guys discussed that it needed to change. That's when I said, I agreed. I was glad you guys discussed that. Because for years, looking at the essays, you can tell which students come from which teacher. Because they all had the same topic, they all basically had the same wording. That's what I said. However, your comments were that they were ignorant and illiterate, and that they couldn't, that it was difficult to watch them read it. That's what you said. Now, Trustee Tates and Trustee Williams don't look very similar, but apparently, according to District 168, your negative comments came out of my mouth. That's not what happened. So if you're wanting proof, absolutely, next Tuesday I will have that proof for you and for anybody else who would like it, because all I said and all that I stand by saying was the teachers in the classrooms were basically giving them a script to write. I said it then, I'll say it again. So I don't know if it's a memory thing that you don't remember that you had those negative comments, but you said them. And I stand behind what I say. But to say that you've never commented on something, that's inappropriate. Because you know yourself, as an avid financial, as a person who's avidly looking at the financials in the village, you know that you've talked about the deficiencies in the audit. You know that, and I know that. You also talked about what the Budget and Finance Committee is going to do for safeguards for the police pension. The village board has nothing to do with the police pension. That's why there were no safeguards. That's why we didn't catch this in the first place. Because the police pension is a completely separate thing. You may want to talk to the police department and the police board if you want to look for safeguards. You talked about personal attacks and how you would prefer that there were no personal attacks and we'd stop having personal attacks. And then within 30 seconds you told the mayor he couldn't read.
Well, he can't.
I'm not sure, again, what your definition of a personal attack is, but to say that a person who's been a trustee for 14 years, I think, before he was the mayor, a person who is very high-ranking in his company, any adult man, I mean, I think that that would be an insult to any adult man that you walked to and you said, you can't read, you're illiterate. I mean, like I said before, you already said that about our 8th graders of Sauk Village, but to say that about an adult man who's running the town, that's inappropriate. And the last thing I'm going to cover are the minutes. The village clerk has stated multiple times, any person, when you get the minutes, if there's something that's wrong, if you see a typo, if I use the word red when you think it should say blue, say, village clerk, this should say red and it says blue. And she said multiple times she would be happy to change it. Trustee Burgess has come to her multiple times. I didn't say this, we need to change this, whatever. What is her response? Let's check the tape. If I'm wrong, I'll change it. If I'm not wrong, it stands. And when those times have happened, she has come to the board and she says, I went with Trustee Burgess, I went with Trustee Washington, whoever it was, we listened to the tape, whatever the tape said, that's what's in the minutes. I typed it wrong or I was right. That's what happens. So to just say blanketly that you're just going to vote no because the minutes, you don't vote on garbage, personal opinion, that's a personal attack on the person who wrote them. Because if you had a problem, if you were so concerned with the village, the history of Sauk Village being written in stone to have those minutes legible forever, then you would be concerned with how they read and how they were written out. And then you would take it upon yourself and say, village clerk, these are wrong, we need to fix them. Because 60, on the 120th anniversary, when somebody pulls the minutes from the 60th year, I want them to be right. But you don't do that. You just vote no. So again, I will definitely have your proof for you next week. Thank you.
Thank gosh, done. Woo! Way to run a circle to say.
Some of the things that were said tonight, I think about, there's 2 verses in the Proverbs. The first one says, "Enter not a fool according to his folly, lest ye also be like him." The other one is, "Enter not a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit." Tonight, I've heard a lot of foolish things be said, and you hear counter talks about don't attack someone, but I heard multiple attacks from the same lips, from the same individual. I heard attacks on this board about a rose bush program that did not pass when the sponsor, the very person who brought attacks against this board tonight, who was the sponsor of that rose bush, would not even second it when it came for the board to vote on. So if I remember right, it was either Trustee Myers or it was Trustee Williams that made the motion on the floor. The motion died. That's part of the record. If you want to go back and look it up, look it up. It's out there. So the sponsor himself would not even get a second on the floor when he was given the opportunity and the motion died. The accounts payable, to say why you're not going to vote for it, again, foolish, because at the same lips of this individual wants to talk about the agent report, wants to talk about the bills we have to pay. Our accounts payable pay our vendors. The accounts payable pays our employees. The very ones who are out there, especially when it comes to our safety employees, when it comes to our police department, our firefighters, our Homeland Security, now sitting over in the corner. See the police chief sitting in the back. So to think about how an individual will vote no, not to pay the very people who are out there protecting you, who are out there repairing our streets, and at the same time has nothing to be able to talk about agent report when they vote no to pay our vendors. So, you know, again, we could probably go on, and everything is documented. I don't have to go through it, but you know, when I also think about how this is an election year, okay, and you're going to hear a lot of foolish talk from individuals who have no idea what they're talking about, who make up stories, who make up allegations. You know, you think about, you know, when it comes to being transparent and providing information. It is a proven fact that this administration has provided more information to the village residents than any prior administration. So again, for people who hasn't attended meetings from previous administrations, you wouldn't know. You know, this administration has provided more information than any administration, and we can prove it. Yeah. When you think about the amount of work that's being done, you think about the amount of roads that have been repaired under this administration, and how many more roads are going to be repaired this coming year. Fire hydrants, that was an issue that I received. Coming on board, there was no fire hydrants being repaired, there was no preventative maintenance. We put together a plan where we're constantly repairing, we're constantly working to replace fire hydrants. I've got a board that sits in my office that I constantly look at, and we work with Kevin Weller, that as time becomes available, they go off and they start working on another one. So when people want to talk about our fire hydrants, I can show you a board that's full of stars that when I became mayor, they were all red. And then you take a look at the board today. How many of those are now yellow because there's work being, parts are being ordered? They're green because those fire hydrants have been repaired, they've been replaced. You know, again, people, all they can do is just lie and make allegations, and that's all it is. You think about we're paying our vendors. We've got a great chief, he's standing in the back, we've reduced crime. You know, that's one thing people don't want to be able to talk about. The amount of crime that has been reduced. Is there still crime? You know, yeah, there's crime everywhere. You know, I was just talking to a gentleman the other day who lives in Richmond Park and talked about some shootings and stuff happening over there. I talked to someone last night who was a dispatcher for Fort Heights and talks about all the shootings that go on at Fort Heights almost every single night, and people getting shot. You know, you think about if you live in the city of Chicago, God forbid. So the whole entire south suburbs and everywhere, and not just in the state of Illinois. You know, I was in Arizona, and they're talking about all the shootings and the crime and stuff that's happening there. It's nationwide. But we got a police department that jumps on it, addresses the crime, they go after the criminals, and they've got resources that they use to do their job. Think about this, trying to reduce litigation. We've worked really hard trying to reduce litigation. Some of the very people who are attacking this administration are the cause of the litigation. They're the ones who have caused lawsuits against this village, frivolous, and they've lost them, but it's cost you, the residents, to fight those on your behalf. They're the same ones that file multiple FOIAs, and I want to say something about, because we have to have attorneys to look at the FOIAs. Because if we don't, those same individuals will turn around and sue us again. So we want to make sure the information that they're provided is the exact information, Number one, that we're supposed to provide it. Number two, it's all the information. So, you know, the old saying is what people accuse you of is usually what they're guilty of. We saw a lot of accusations against me tonight. I'm going to tell you is what people accuse you of is what they're guilty of. Okay? That's why they won't approve minutes. Okay? Think about the reduction of what the village is owed. People want to talk about how much the village is owed. Look at how much the village was owed when I became mayor. And how did we do that? Think about this. We went out there, we started turning people's water off to make them start paying their water bills. We've gone out, we've jetted, and we've repaired B-boxes so we can turn people's water off so they can get their bills paid. We put liens against properties. JW deals almost every day with residents who've come in and had their water turned off and telling them, you know what, you're going to have to put a large portion of that money down before we even think about turning your water on. You know, and he has to deal with some pretty rude people between him and Sherry and Cindy because they didn't pay their bill. These guys are guilty for turning their water off. But you know what? They're out there representing you, the residents, telling people your water's going to be turned off if you don't pay your water bill. So you want to talk about what people owe the village of Sauk Village? I got people like JW and the people at the front office that are out there making people pay their bills so we can reduce the amount of money that's owed to our village, which is you, the village residents. So you think about all the stuff that's going on. Again, you're going to hear some crazy stuff over the next few months. You know? And we only have a few more meetings left. You know, I'll be honest with you, I'm retiring from politics, and I got broad shoulders. I can take whatever they want to throw at me. I really don't care anymore, to be honest with you. Because when you deal with a fool, you know, there's no sense on responding to the fool and to the fools. So we've put out a lot. And then lastly, Trustee Burgess, I'm going to make it very clear, and I guess it wasn't clear earlier, so I will make it part of the record. Number one, you do not have the authority to tell a department head what to do. However, you are a chair of the Public Works Department. Public Works. So you have the right and authority to go ask Public Works what their schedule is for limb pickup and if they have anything that they have in place to pick up limbs and come back and report to this board. I think I said that about as clear as I can say it. So with that said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Got a motion, is there a second? All in favor say aye. Meeting adjourned.